Hey guys, it's Katie. I just wanted to show a quick tutorial because there's not many out there on translucent canes. I mean, there's some, but not a lot. We're going to do a leaf similar to this, but with different coloring. So instead of the black, I'm going to make a different color. So this is similar to what we're going to do. And this is a translucent cane. And at some point, I'll bring up some other ones of some pendants I made using this accent leaf cane. Anyways, first thing we're going to do, I'm going to use Cernet, which is crazy sticky. I made a batch last night, but I don't have enough that I put on some paper and let it leach out a little bit, because this is so, I mean, sticky. Anyways, it's summertime. So the Cernet clay I'm going to be using instead of the black, this is going to be replacing my black, is going to be hematite and the Cernet green, and these are their metallics, which are beautiful metallics, and they polish up amazing, but they are quite soft. So I'm pretty much taking equal parts of each, and I'm going to mix these up, and it will give me a shade roughly like this, a little darker than the green, but not as dark as the hematite, and I'll have a green tone, which I thought would be good for the leaf. So I'm going to mix these up until I get a shade similar to this, and then we'll continue on. I just wanted to show you what I was using. Okay, so next thing we're going to need is some translucent clay. I am using all Primo today, and I tend to only buy the white translucent just because I like the way it looks better. So this is a little block of Primo white translucent, and I kind of have a basic leaf shape in there, and I scored out my basic lines. You don't need to do that step, but I think it helps. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to, you also need some Primo white, and then I have that green color. It's sitting on some paper, one, so it tries to block all of that light, and two, so this green can kind of get leached out a little bit because it's super sticky. And I don't have them stacked because I do want to be able to pull them apart later, but we will stack them. So first thing we need to do, take our block in our rough leaf shape, and I don't want the tip super pointy like this one. I want it more rounded. So we're going to cut. Now, my leaf cane, I do not want the center vein going all the way to the end like this one. Okay, so keep that in mind if you want your veins going all the way to the edge or not. So with this one, I am going to cut it completely in half, but I'm only going to put the vein like there. But I'm going to cut it in half because it's much easier to work with. So I'm going to cut it roughly down my score line in half. And then I'll set one side aside. So this side here, you know what, maybe I kind of want my veins, rather than being completely straight, maybe I want them a little curved. So let's see if we can do that. You know, we're doing the cane a day challenge on some Facebook sites. One of them I definitely know of is Jessima Design. So for me, I did the basic jelly rolls and the, you know, Skinner blends, and I've done some kaleidoscope ones, and I've done a rose cane, a flower cane. I got all the basic canes down, but now I need more canes. So I think that's what this 30-day challenge is about. It's about getting you outside of your box, trying new canes that you've never tried, experimenting with cane work, learning from other people. So just have fun with it and play with it and take what you know as basics and then build off of them. So, you know, this is a leaf that I've done in the past, but I'm going to build off of this. So I think I want to try, and this is going to be experimentation, I want to try making my veins, my side veins, a little more curved. So let's see if I use an X-Acto knife, if I can accomplish this. So I'm going to go straight down. I know it's going to be hard for you to see. I'm going to puncture all the way through. Slowly. Oh, I pulled it apart. I didn't mean to cut it all the way, but See, if I remove the mishaps, then you guys will think, oh my god, I did that myself. It's not a big deal if it rips. Just remember, don't put your vein all the way to the edge. So there's one. Let's see if I can do another one. And I haven't overly conditioned this Primo white translucent, just because my translucent seems to move quicker than my other colors when I'm reducing. So like, see this one here, when I reduced it, I had tons of translucent. So I tried not to condition this as much, so maybe it moves a little slower. So there's that there. Now we need to make veins. So first thing I'm going to do is we will take some of this green that we made from the hematite. This is a Cernit from the hematite and Cernit green metallics. And let me roughly, this is just rough, get the thickness of my piece. Just quickly, a little strip. Okay, and then I'm also going to quickly, that keeps falling off, I'll leave that there, get my thickness of my white, and we are going to layer these. Just grab a little bit of white, and I don't care if it's exact, it doesn't need to be exact. And they're both run out on my Atlas 150, they're both run out on a setting number 3. I don't want it to be too bulky. So next we are going to stack them, but I really don't want to waste any, so I'll stack them after the fact. So like, I'll stack one vein at a time. Okay, so we're gonna need 2 veins. So let me stack a layer of the green for a couple veins. Get that. Oops. Couple that blade. Let's use this blade. Okay. So I have, right now I have this layer of the green and a layer of the white. Let me cut off this excess white here. Just like that. And we're going to start filling in our leaf cane. So if that's our leaf cane, I'm also going to take the edge here and pinch it. So on this end it gets narrower. So I'm going to go pinch, 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 pinch. Like that. And we're going to place it down in, maybe like that. Just smush it all back together here. And then with using your tissue blade or a craft knife or whatever you got, cut that. Just like that. And this one I just kind of squished it together, so I'm going to open that back up. And again, we're going to pinch it. And we're going to lay, well, maybe I'll pinch it a little bit more so it's a little narrower. I'm going to set that down in there. And again, it's super hot out. And make sure your green is similar. So the green's on the bottom, I want the green on the bottom. And check both sides, make sure they're lining up with each other. And then again with your tissue blade, slice down on that one. There's a little excess off to the side, so I'm going to take that and trim that off there. There's also a little bit sticking out here. Trim that off there. Okay, there's our veins right there. Next we have to do the other side, same exact thing. So if you want to fast forward, feel free. If you want to watch, but I don't want to exclude any steps for the people who do want all the steps. So I'm going to try to make a curved again. And then again we're going to, piece of translucent on there. We're going to pinch, pinch, pinch to make it narrower along the edge. And we're going to set that down in. Green going down towards the bottom. I need to pinch it a little bit more. Make it a little bit skinnier. And with this Cernet being, it's literally like bubble gum. With it being this sticky, it's very difficult to work with, but I think it will be worth it. We'll see when we're done. Who knows? I've never done a translucent cane like this. I mean, I've done a lot of translucent canes, but they're all different. Every single one turns out different. They're never exactly the same. Okay, and then I'm going to cut any excess off. I'm just checking both sides to make sure it's as even as I can get it. And don't throw away these green and white scraps. They'll look cool when you all mix them all together. It'll give you a lighter color. You could probably use it for something. Okay, and then one more. And this one's going to be a smaller one, I think. And then we'll pinch that again. And green down. And set that down in. And it's tearing a little bit right here, but that's okay. I don't want that vein to go all the way there. Buff it up. Cut it. Cut it a little bit more. That's kind of what we have going on, except for we need to put it in the center now. So now we're going to put in our center vein, which, let me see if this is the right thickness. That'll be about the right thickness, and straighten it up so I don't waste any if I don't have to. Once these two get together, they're very difficult to pull apart, and I want it about that long. So again, we're going to stack our white and green. And again, I'm going to pinch an end just to make the tip narrower. And we're going to lay that down in. And remember, I did not want it to go all the way to the end. So maybe about, let me just see my two veins. A little bit almost to the end, but not quite to the end. But I do want it to come out to the bottom end because I want it to look like you broke a stem off at the bottom. Okay, fit them together. And they're all in the same thickness, okay? A size 3. Which you could even go thinner or you could go thicker. It just depends what you want. So play around with it. Have fun. Just experiment. Okay, I'm just trying to get it all together as one piece. Let me cut off that excess as well. Okay, I'm roughly going to get my shape back. It will distort a little bit during the reduction process, but okay, so that's what we have. So if we look at my other one, you know, that's how it starts out. Instead it's black and white, this is green and white. Okay. Making sure both sides look good. Well, as good as it can look before it's reduced and cut into. Okay, now we need to wrap the outside, and when you're wrapping the outside, for the center veins it doesn't really matter, but when you're wrapping the outside, if I was to take the green and put the green first, it would make the translucent in the cane look darker. So if you want this to look darker, use your darker color first. If you want it to look lighter, use your white first. If or your lighter color, no, you don't need to use white. I don't think I have a thick enough strip, so I'm going to run this back through my pasta machine and we'll stack a layer of green and white just as we did for the veins. Okay, so I have a layer of green and a layer of white. They're both rolled out on the same setting as my veins were, so a setting number 3 on my Atlas 150, where 0 is the thickest and 9 is the thinnest, so it's rolled out on number 3. I'm roughly going to get the thickness of my cane. On one edge. Doesn't need to be perfect. Oh, there's a dog hair. Just get it close. I think people over worry about that part. That kind of stuff is getting it too exact. It doesn't really need to be. And then I'm going to cut one end flat, and I'm going to roughly get the length as well, so I don't stack any that I don't need, because once it's stacked I can't get it off the white. Let me just quickly get the length. And see, if you push down on one seam to the other seam, right there, there's a little, see? Then when you fold it back, you can see the line right there where to cut, and that's your length. So let me cut that. And, oh, I think my dog just farted. You hog. My dog just, sorry. Jeez, I'll lay that on the white. Wow, he reeks. Okay. Cut all that white off. A little bit more here. You don't have to do this. I'm just going to be a little nitpicky. This is how I do it. This is how I do it when I'm, well, I usually take more time when I'm not recording. I would sit here and, no, this is what I would do. I would get this white off, and that would probably be it. Okay. So now that we have those, let's see if I can pick it up. And I'm going to try to put the white, or I am going to put the white first. And I'm going to probably put it down here at the seam. So I'm going to lay the white on first. And I'm going to wrap it around. And the cool thing about canes is you really don't know what's going to happen until you cut into it after you're done reducing it. You really, and then push on the seam right there and it'll give you a line. You really don't know what happens until you cut into it, which is an exciting thing and also a scary thing. You know, when I made my first rose cane, I actually blew my mind. I was like, oh my god, it's so amazing. When I cut it, I was like, I didn't expect it. I just thought it was going to look way horrible. And it looked great, and I was so impressed with myself. And I took a bunch of different tips and tricks from people's tutorials, and I kind of made my own rose cane using different tips and tricks, and I think it looks better, looks more detailed. So like, okay, let me show you. I have a video on my rose cane, but let me show you. So here is a rose cane that I did based off of other people's, right? Looks pretty good, I think. Here is my rose cane, and it's a little smaller, so it's hard to see. And if I would have done the same colors, you guys could have compared better. What I like about my rose cane, so pretty much all the outside is the same. Obviously, they won't show up. It's the centers on it. So do you see how mine has a little tiny circle in there, which kind of looks like the petals where they haven't opened yet? And on other people's, they didn't really put that in there. So I think mine looks more overlapped here than based off other people's. So I made a tutorial on this one, but you can use the same colors here. Whatever colors you want, it really doesn't matter. But that was my rose cane. So again, I based it off of different tutorials, and then I kind of came up with my own. And that's again where this leaf cane is coming from. You know, there's a lot of colored leaf canes out there, but I wanted to do more of a translucent one because I like my accent translucent leaf canes. Where did I stick my stack of the... Right there. And if there's any sticking out on the sides, I'm just slightly cutting that off. Okay, so that's what we have for our cane now. And now comes the reduction part. So think of this kind of as a triangle. I know a lot of people struggle with reducing. You want to get it fatter or longer, smaller, so you want to make the leaf a lot smaller and a lot longer, okay? And we're going to do that instead of, I don't want to make it a full triangle. I don't want to reduce it like a full triangle because then it becomes very square like this, except for then I fold it in the bottoms. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to do it by pulling, okay? Allowing myself to push in on the center, and you can just do one end on the time or at a time. So I'm gonna putting my two thumbs in the middle, and I'm pulling gently outwards, okay, all the way down the length. And then I'll do it on the point too, and I'm gonna work my way around, pulling in on the center. I'm not really doing anything with these fingers. I'm more doing it with my thumb. You want to reduce nice and slow. You don't want to pull too fast, too hard, because that's where you get a lot of distortion. I mean, you're always going to get distortion unless you use cane ends, but I find they get in my way. Especially if it was a cane like this, they'd be sticking out. Like, how would I get my fingers in there? Because I don't work with massive canes, so if you do work with bigger canes, those cane ends are probably great, but I don't. So again, I'm just pinching in the middle and kind of giving it, I don't know if you can see, an indent right there. So I'm going to lay it down a little bit. I want to try to keep these corners as round as possible, as much as I can. See? And already we've added some width. If you want to fast forward it, feel free, or even speed this part up on the 3 dots on your YouTube. On the top corner, I think it's the top right hand corner. If you push the 3 dots, there's a thing called playback speed. You can speed this reduction part up, or just fast forward it until I'm at the part where I'm done. But if you want to watch, you can continue to watch. See, now it's skinnier in the middle. So now I'm going to take the edges and kind of pull them out a little bit to make them more. I don't want my point to get too pointy. I'm just rotating and kind of repeating the same all the way around, okay? So we have a little bit of distortion, but not tons. And this is a slow process. If you don't want a lot of distortion, you don't want to force it too quickly, okay? So I'm doing the middle again. See, giving it a waste, and then I'll set it up on my thing and pull. I'm going to completely spin it because usually this hand's stronger, my right hand. Trying to keep it all even. Now I'm going to gently push down on the top and pull down because we need to make it shorter. So again, I'm going to take these corners, and I'm not like pinching like this is how I usually do a triangle. I'm kind of trying to make them round, keep it round. I don't want it completely pointy. Okay, so now I'm going to give it a waist again. Mainly I'm doing things with my thumbs, and mostly on my right hand. When it starts to get bigger, you can flip it and grab it with both hands. It's kind of nice. Okay. And we're pulling outward. We want to make it longer and skinnier. You know, we want to start out with a short thing and make it a long, skinny thing. And look, this time my translucent is not going as much. So when I condition my translucent, I get a lot of translucent excess, and when I don't, I get the suck in. How weird is that? So I'm going to continue reducing the same way. I am going to pause it and I will come back when it's done, but I'm not going to change anything that I was just doing. I'm going to do the same exact thing. Flip, same thing. Okay. I'm not done yet, but I want to show you when it starts to get longer, you can also pull. You know, pull on to get it to lengthen up some. You can only pull so much, but you can totally pull on it to try to get it to lengthen as well. Now mine is starting to get a little triangular, but I'm going to pat down these edges, and I'm going to continue on until I get my largest cane size I want. Okay, so this is what I have so far, and what I'm going to do is cut it in half because I want to take more of this down to even smaller sizes. I usually like to have maybe 3 sizes of every cane that I do, so that way I have different options. So while I'm reducing now, I usually reduce them down. This is my strong arm cane that I made up the other day. If someone else made it up, let me know and I'll credit them. That's what I'm calling it, strong arm cane. This was also by the 30-day challenge, just a nice accent cane that I made up, a translucent accent cane. See there in the middle? So anyways, we're going to cut this in half. Well, yeah, whatever, we'll cut it roughly in half. And let's see where our top is. So our top is up here. So at this point we can fix our shape up a little bit by blunting in the bottom corners. So by taking your fingers, and I'm not pinching together, I'm just pushing in. So I'm kind of making my finger a diamond shaped, not as tight of a diamond, like not really tight triangles on my fingers. I'm kind of doing wide ones. And I'm going to pinch up so I can modify its shape, push them together, and this will reduce it a little bit more. Flip it and go the other way. I don't cut off my ends every single time because I find that then you get more waste and more waste every time you cut your ends off. So that's our basic leaf cane here. Yeah, we got one side a little flatter than the other, but that's okay with me because leaves are very organic, and that's the distorted end there. Okay, so that's my biggest one. And I'm going to take this one and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to kind of pinch in while I'm modifying the shape. This will reduce it as well. I'm going, starting at the middle and going up to the end. And then I'm going to flip it and start in the middle. Go up to the end. The slower you go with this, the less you press each time, the less distortion you'll get. But I tend to get impatient. Aren't we all? And I'm going to make it smaller just by reducing the same exact way we have been. Give it a little pull. Smoothing off my fingerprints. This end's a little fatter, so I'm going to pinch that a little smaller. That's quite a bit smaller. Okay. So let's cut that. Let's take my tissue blade and I'm going to cut some of that off. Let's cut this end off. Let's see. And obviously when you cut for, it's still distorted. When you cut for like slices, you want to, so that's still all distortion right there on the end. You want to let this rest. So I'm going to get rid of all my distortion. They're still slightly distorted, and they're definitely smearing quite a bit. There we go. Now we're getting out of the distorted part. Starting to get out of it. So that's probably my 2 sizes that I'll use. And don't throw away any of this excess. You can use this as a new color. So there is my leaf cane. I will probably use this in a project later so you can see. Oh, my dog's dreaming. So you can see how I use it. Let me grab a couple so you can see how I usually use leaf canes. I'll be right back. Okay, so the way I usually use leaf canes is as an accent, like here, to kind of hide a little seam. This is a translucent flower and the translucent leaf cane. This one was that black and white leaf cane. I have a translucent white flower in the middle there, or on this here. Has a couple translucent, so this is a translucent lace cane down at the bottom half. You have the leaf, then there's a white translucent flower in the middle, and then a different flower here. This one, I see I used a translucent that I tinted with yellow and white. That's up here, a tinted translucent with alcohol inks, and then a jelly roll spiral. And then this is a different type of translucent. Do you see here? So these are translucent canes that I tend to use to accent my piece. Now all of my scraps, I marbled them. I was just mixing them through my pasta machine. I would use this for a backing. I like to have the marbled backings. I do that a lot. So, and then I would texture a backing. So this is from my strong arm excess, and I just kind of marbled it, and I would use that for a backing. Or you could continue mixing it all the way and come up with a lighter version of this here. So if you, let me mix this all the way so you can see what it looks like. So once I took all my ends off and mixed them, this is the color it came up with. This is the color we started with. This has white and a little translucent in it. But it's not a bad color, and I wouldn't waste it. I mean, you can use this for backings or anything else. I mean, it's not a bad color. So I wouldn't throw away your cane ends. Always save them. You'll always need excess. So here is our leaf cane that I came up with here. Using green, some Cernit metallic green, rather than black. And it's just going to be a finer look. Anyways, I hope that was helpful to you in creating canes. I hope this helps you branch out. I know you can hear my washer going. I hate experimenting with canes because it's expensive. You know, you don't want to waste your clay. So during this 30-day cane challenge, I've been using a lot of souffle because I had souffle and I don't usually use it a lot, and playing with canes. And what's nice about the 30-day cane challenge is it really gets you outside your comfort zone, gets you to try new things. You see new things from other people, and that's exciting. You can, oh, I've never seen that before. Let me try something like that. So really branch out. Try to experiment. If you're interested in joining the 30-day cane challenge, it's really not like we're not competing or anything like that. It's not like that. It's just we're doing a cane a day for the month of July. It's on Jessima Design on Facebook, and we're all just posting our different canes to look at different color combinations, different canes that you can come up with. It's just helping us grow as artists, and it's really fun. A lot of people are coming up with some really neat things. So I hope this was helpful for you. If it was, please like, share, subscribe. I'll have other videos that I'm going to post here and there because it might be helpful for someone else. So I hope you guys have a great rest of your weekend. It's Sunday here, so last day of the weekend, and I will talk to you next time. Bye for now.